Recently, President William Ruto traveled to the USA, that is the United States of America, and in his travels, he used a private chartered jet from the royal family in Dubai. And the debate that has been going around the country is per the cost or the actual cost of the trip to Dubai. Welcome to the Bold Analysis. My name is Frank. I would like to remind you to continue subscribing to our YouTube channel in case you're new here. You can turn on the notification bell too so that you'd be the first one to be notified whenever we upload our new content. Now, as I've mentioned, the president did travel out of the country using a private royal jet hired from Dubai. And Kenyans have been talking on social media as to what was the actual cost of hiring this jet when in real sense the president could have alternatively used a KQ business class plane to fly to the US. Something that even to some quarters of the citizenry population on social media, they've come up with calculations as to what is the amount of a single ticket for an individual to the US. Some even went ahead and dig that information from KQ website, and I think a ticket was going for about 847,000 Kenya shillings, roughly around a figure there. And there was also a letter from KQ that allegedly was saying that whatever President Ruto was saying, because there was a post by President Ruto's team on his X handle, this is a post that when I was going on air had been allegedly been pulled down. And I can quote because we had the screenshot. Fellow Kenyans, I've noted concerns on my mode of transport to USA. As a responsible steward of public resources, and in keeping with my determination for us to live within our means and that I should lead from the front in doing so, the cost was less than traveling on KQ. That was the post that appeared on his X handle and that was later pulled down. Now, the delegation that he traveled with was of about 30 dignitaries. That is according to information from State House. And this is something that has angered Kenyans on why he chose to fly a jet that costed, according to information though not verified, and the State House has not solely confirmed this, was that a single air flow to the US would cost the Kenyan taxpayer about 200 million Kenya shillings. We are yet waiting for the State House to verify this. But then, why did Ruto choose not to use KQ and use a private royal military jet over KQ? Even so, just when he was in USA, the Prime Minister of Iceland flew to an African country, Malawi, using a KQ plane, while Ruto was out in America using a private chartered royal jet. His predecessors like Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta also used this KQ chartered plane to the US trip. So, why did Ruto choose to forgo the KQ? Why did he not use the KQ and instead opted for the jet? And while we look at this, I want us to look at the reasons as to why Ruto might probably not have used the KQ. Number one, Ruto seems to be having a deep disconnect with the KQ. And this is partially caused by maybe the kind of losses that KQ has been making, KQ is Kenya Airways here, has been making in recent years. It was just up to the last financial year that they reported a net operational profit, but then the losses were still there. And some figures within the government, especially the government of Ruto, have been wanting for KQ to be privatized, such that it can release the treasury the burden of bailing KQ each and every financial year out of the debt crisis. So, the politics behind the privatization of the airline and the hard stance maybe by the shareholders would have informed his decision not to use KQ. That might have played as a major factor as to why he did not use a KQ. Another reason as to why the president did not use the KQ is that the president could probably be keeping his itinerary a top secret because of the officials that it was reported that he flew to America with about 30 government officers to the US. But then the numbers that we saw there could probably be more than 30. Even if you go to the account of which members of his family did fly together with him to the US. So it is common sense that if he could have used KQ, then the itinerary of the whom and who he traveled with could have been a public document because it could be something that is easily available online for the public. So the intention to keep this private could have informed his decision to use the private jet in the eventuality that the Kenya one was not there. And this is something that maybe, according to them, the best way to conceal this was to use a private jet hired elsewhere from elsewhere. Another reason as to why probably Ruto could have opted to go for a private royal jet and not a KQ is because of his special link with Dubai firm that supplied the jet. It was a royal jet. And remember, the government, when Ruto assumed power, that is in August 2022, they scrapped previous government agreements with other nations, especially on the supply of basic commodities such as fuel. And they went to Dubai and negotiated with the government of Dubai of a government-to-government deal, popularly abbreviated as G2G deal, such that Dubai and Kenya could be trading in oil under relaxed circumstances. So this could have been one of the reasons as to why he opted for this. So it could be easy for them to negotiate with the royal ruling class in Dubai to access such a jet. And this is even evident in the manner in which it has been reported that a majority of elite Kenyans, especially within the political sphere and top business class, have been running to Dubai to invest. Their investments by Kenyans in Dubai, and especially the real estate industry in Dubai, has been experiencing a boom in the number of investors that are coming from Kenya. So this could have been other factors that could have been at play on Ruto's trip and his choice to use a private chartered royal jet to the US. Another reason that could have informed this is because the organizers of the trip were looking for a conduit of corruption. Yes, a conduit of corruption. You know, I have a friend working within a government office. I will not say it's which, but it's a state department that is concerned with, let me just say that it's a foreign affairs state department. But of course I will not disclose their name and the office in which they work at. So the friend was sharing something with me. Was telling me that there is a big business in just booking for these dignitaries aircrafts or airlines that they would be using to fly out of the country, and especially the ambassadors and people working within these embassies. So what really happens, according to the information that he gave me, is that once a dignitary wants to fly out of this country, let us not say the level of a president, just any other dignitary, maybe we say a minister of foreign affairs or any other minister in any ministry within the country, there are people with private companies that they do the airline marketing thing. So these people would be contracted in form of a tender that they've won to be doing for a given state department, and then they would be earning a figure like, let's say, 30% of what the travel cost is. So if they are to be earning that 30%, then it means that the traveling cost should be inflated by 30% so that they can be able to earn comfortably. And then now the people working in these offices, such as the state departments, they also get a further 10% on this. So this directly shoots the price or the cost of an airline by about 40%. That is before you take, of course, into play other players who would want something small for the same. So, the advisors could have come up with this plan for them to get a private royal jet from Dubai, such that probably they would be able to earn something small on top of that. Thank you for watching. That marks the end of our analysis.